With as busy as mom life can be, it's so easy to quickly get stuck in the mode of constant productivity because you feel like there's more tasks to do than you could ever accomplish in a day. And let's be honest, if you take a pause to just relax, chill out, enjoy your time with your kids, that's time that's potentially being wasted because you aren't getting all those tasks done. And that's a really hard place to find yourself when you're a mom, especially of littles, because we didn't have kids just so we could be busy. We had kids because we cared more about the greater picture, the bigger impact, and the good that it would bring to our everyday lives. And we want to enjoy that. So I want to take some time today walking through 5 practical ways that we can balance out getting things done with also hitting pause on that productivity and enjoying our time with our littles. If that's what you need more of in your life today, you're in the right place. Let's simplify things together. As we kick off this episode today, I just want to say that this is quite possibly more for me than anyone else out there. I feel like at the time of this recording, it's August, and it is like the hardest time of year, short of maybe the winter holidays and winter break and managing all of that. This is up there. I know in our household, the kids are pretty much done with camp. We just got back from being out of town. We're leaving in a few days again. I have the kids going back to school in a week and a half and have done zero in terms of buying school supplies or back to school outfits. And I definitely am not ready for out of town visitors. We have 2 coming in the next, I think, 9 or 10 days. So it's so busy and hectic, and it's full of all good things, all wonderful things, but everyday life is still happening. The laundry still has to get done. I still have to cook meals for my family. And then on top of that, I'm managing out of town travel, kids not having camp, and preparing for them to be ready to go back to school. It's a lot. So trust me when I say this, I very much need these reminders, and I hope that as helpful as they are to me, I hope they are helpful to you. I really want this to be an episode that you can come back to time and again to revisit these ideas in order to reframe the busyness and help you create more intention that leads to balance and ease. Let's do what we can to remove that friction and just get to the fun, right? That's the end goal. So the first thing I always do is try to start my day with clarity around what actually needs to happen. What are my top priorities? So I limit this to 3 big tasks. It's a miracle if I get more done than that. Typically, even 2 could be enough if I've got the kids home all day. Now, again, this is going to look so different depending on your lifestyle, the age of your kids, what you have going on. But think about what is the capacity you have. And in that time, how much can you realistically tackle? The problem is when we're looking at our entire to-do list of all the tasks that need to happen, we're setting ourselves up for failure. We're setting ourselves up to fall short. And no one ever feels good when they are entirely aware that they aren't doing enough. So we need to reframe this. We have to really start thinking about, well, what does my enough point look like today based on the capacity that I have? So start with some clarity, get clear on what really could happen in your day and focus on those tasks. And then from there, you have a chance to decide, do I have the capacity to take on 1 or 2 more tasks? Or can I turn off the productivity for today because I've handled what really mattered, and now I get to go enjoy my time with my kids or by myself or with my partner and not feel any guilt around it because I accomplished exactly what I set out to do today. To me, that always leaves me feeling at ease with taking time off to balance things out. Now, a big one for me that's been a game changer, and it feels so obvious saying it, but it's not one I've utilized enough, and it's setting a timer to budget time. I definitely struggle with time blindness, and that has been amplified since having kids. I have the worst time managing my time if I'm not really careful about it. So setting a timer really helps keep me on track. It's kind of like those bumpers at the bowling alley that just like keep the ball somewhere at least in the alley and out of the gutter. Like that's what we're aiming for here. So by putting some time constraints around how long a task should take always helps me keep the task top of mind and minimizes my tendency to get distracted and focus on other things. I think most of us know by now that multitasking is the furthest thing from productive. That task switching constantly really slows us down. So setting that timer really helps me focus in and get the job done. And then that way it's not taking up and expanding and filling up the extra time that I do have in my day that I would prefer to spend on things that feel more meaningful and fulfilling. Number 3, make sure you're going through your to-do list consistently and editing it down. Far too often, tasks sneak up on our to-do list that do not have to get done by us. They are either tasks that you could delegate to someone else, whether that's someone in your family, or an outside service, or they could be deleted altogether. Yet, would I love for someone to go clean out the winter gear that's still in my disorganized mudroom closet? 100%. I would love to just have that handled. But guess what? It's August. I'm deleting it from my to-do list. We're just leaving it there. I'm not going to worry about that anymore. We are going to embrace the fact that I live in Colorado and it's going to be snowing here in like 3 months. So we've made it this far. Let's just roll with it, right? So choose the path of least resistance. Be really honest with yourself. If a task that's on your list absolutely has to get done, and if it does it absolutely have to get done by you? Number 4, make sure that you schedule these opportunities for fun in advance. And I don't mean that it has to be some big to-do that you have to go spend a lot of money. I just mean make sure that if you want more fun in your day, that you are carving out time for it. If it goes on the calendar or if it goes in your agenda for the day, it is more likely to actually happen. I do this all the time, especially when I'm communicating the plan for the day to my kids. I always want them to know these are the times when mom's working. Here's what mom's going to be working on. Here's what you're going to be doing. And these are the times that we're going to come together and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go out for a walk. We're going to play basketball in the driveway. We're going to go to the park. Whatever it looks like, I make sure that it gets planned into our day. Because if it's planned in the day, it's more likely to happen. I don't know why our brains just seem to honor that more than if we're like, oh, that'd be nice to do. There's something about having it in the plans that just makes it possible. So give that a try if you haven't before. And then our 5th strategy is to live by the mindset that done is better than perfect. I have had to really rely on this one this summer. I'm not condoning that we do things halfway. What I am saying is be a little bit more discerning about, does everything really have to be like this perfect done up thing? Or what are the things that we could maybe take a step back on and just be glad it's done? Like, does the underwear have to get folded or does it just have to be clean? Like, you choose. Does every dinner have to be a gourmet meal, or could you maybe fill some things in with by getting a meal kit here or there, or having some ready to go pantry meals that, sure, they may not be the greatest thing ever, but are they meeting your family's basic needs in that meal? If so, good enough. Don't worry about perfect. You're going to find that it frees up not only your time, but a lot of the mental space of having to worry about, was this done just the way I'd want it? Is it just so? I feel like there's just a lot of pressure, and I don't know if it comes from social media or where it's coming from, but I do feel like there's this immense pressure to not just get all the things done, but to do them really well, like 10 out of 10. And I just don't see how that's serving us. I certainly don't want my own kids thinking that if something has to be perfect and that's the only acceptable way of getting something done, then I'm not doing my job as their parent. I'm doing them a disservice. I want to make sure that when my kids are in my position, that they absolutely are confident and comfortable in hitting pause on productivity, because they know how important having the fun is in order for them to be more productive. I mean, I think that's so backwards for so many of us. I don't know what it is about the generation, how we were raised, what it is, but there's something very backwards about the way we do things. Whereas I want my kids to know that things don't have to be done perfectly. Yeah, they got to get done, but don't sweat the small stuff. And by not sweating the small stuff, you're just taking the pressure off just a little bit, right? And every little bit matters, and every little bit moves the needle back towards calm, peace of mind, being able to sit back and enjoy yourself, right? And to me, that's the end goal. So Don't worry about a perfectly clean house. It's okay to just do a light tidy and know that there's going to be some clutter here or there, or know that there's maybe a pile of stuff that needs to go upstairs later in the day. That's fine. Just be okay with it. And consider how you're setting an example for your kids of what it looks like to live practically rather than perfectly. And I think you're just going to find it somehow magically helps you worry less about all that's got to get done, knowing that you've done enough and that having time left over for a little bit of fun, for a little bit of relaxation is far more important than using that little bit of time up to have things done perfectly. Because truly, you are not going to be as productive as you would like if you are drained, if you are burned out, if you are mentally spent. You're just not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the busyness of mom life. So please make sure that no matter how busy things get, that you lean into these 5 tips in order to just hit the reset button and refocus on what really is going to matter in helping you create that sense of balance in the busyness of your life. To recap those tips, we had limit your to-do list to 3 big tasks a day, set a timer to budget your time, delegate or delete tasks that someone else could be doing or don't have to be done at all, schedule time for fun in advance, and remember, done is always better than perfect. I would love to hear from you which of these tips has been most supportive to you or how you're using them in your everyday life. So be sure to send me a DM on Instagram at Mom Life Handbook. I cannot tell you enough how much I love hearing from you and how these episodes make a difference in your life. So please, I might feel weird just like cold DMing me, but I'm on the other side of the phone waiting to hear from you. So please send me the messages. Let me know how this helped. And as we wrap up this week's episode, remember, mom life is complex, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Here's to leading with purpose and intention as you simplify mom life in the week ahead.